At the start of the first round, it looked like you were close to getting a really quick finish. You landed those heavy calf kicks, and then he went down. I wanted to ask you, did you feel like at any point you should get back to your feet and come back away? Because you seemed happy to play the jiu-jitsu game. Now, of course, you were dominating, you were landing good shots and controlling. But did any part of you think that perhaps you were playing into Anthony's advantage?
Yeah, I started with the leg kicks because, in the Apex arena, the cage is really small. I mean, small, it's really small. So I started with the kicks. I want to hurt him. I want to slow him down a little bit. And then, I dropped him with the kicks. And then when soon we hit the ground, in my head was his words, what he said in the interview, that I'm a one-dimensional fighter, that I'm only a striker. And I told myself, I'm going to show you that I'm not a one-dimensional fighter. I'm going to control you the whole round. And then the next round, we're going to start again in the stand-up position. And I'm going to kick your leg again and going for your liver, So that's the reason I choose to stay on the ground with him, just to show him that I'm not a one-dimensional fighter.
Hey, it's mixed martial arts. You've got to be well-rounded, and you certainly seem to be. And when you were on the ground with him, a lot of the time working from the guard or in half guard, you were taking your time, you were picking your shots. But when you actually landed a shot, when you would throw a shot, there was a lot of power there. You generate a lot of power in your ground and pound. Is that something you work on? Is that something you train specifically for?
Yes, I've been working, like I said, before the fight, I brought a new wrestling coach, and the most important, the most thing we was working is this pressure on the ground. We didn't hit so many takedowns. The most important thing is how to control the opponent on the ground and where and when to put the pressure. So I've been working this a lot in the last 2 months, and I'm so happy that I could show this in this fight.
I think I speak for everybody when I say, how does your leg feel?
It's not good. It's not good at all.
I mean, because you took some calf kicks that would put me in a wheelchair.
Well, I'm still on crutches, so there's that. Yeah. If I'm being really honest with you guys, I'm not doing well. I'm super disappointed. I couldn't get out of bed on Sunday. They had to send people from the PI to my hotel room and drug me up and put a bunch of anti-inflammatory creams and big compression ice machine. It was like I had a whole team in my room. It's a little bit better today. There's an occult fracture on my fibula head, so that's cool. Which it's not. It sounds bad, but it's not a huge deal. Actually, 4 to 6 weeks I'll be fine. But yeah, that's how my leg is.
It seemed like those leg kicks kind of changed how you fought mentally.
Had I not had the leg damage, I would have changed my game plan and just said, all right, we're just going to stand in this boxing range and we're going to go to town here. And I'm confident I'd have been fine, but I couldn't take one more leg kick. Like I didn't have the ability to change the game plan to just strike with him and just box, because the one time he steps back into kicking range and I don't have enough time to close that distance and he kicks me, I'm down and I'm not getting back up. And that's the thing, like he kicked me 3 times. That is nuts. Hector Lombard kicked me 32 times in that fight. No issues. Like I walked through the airport the next day. 3 kicks from Alexander Rakic and I'm on crutches.
And last thing from me, obviously there's news that Brock Lesnar is once again a free agent. Have you any interest in re-signing him if he's willing to come back to fight?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I talked to TMZ about that one today too. I was like, if they both want to fight each other, I'm sure it's a fight that the fans would want to see, and it would be a good introduction for Jones into the heavyweight division. So, if they wanted to do it, I would do it.
Have you heard from Lesnar?
I haven't talked to Brock, no. I haven't talked to Brock in probably a year.
Because we see this every time, right? His contract goes up with the WWE. There's a talk of him coming back to the UFC, and then he eventually re-signs with them. Do you expect him to fight again, or do you think he is done and it's just the usual sort of?
I don't know. He's 43 years old and he's got a lot of money, so I don't know what his plans are, how his body feels, or any of that. Like I said, I haven't talked to him. They asked me about it because his contract was up, and I said, if he calls me and he's interested in fighting, I would obviously consider making that fight.
If he did call you to say about that fight, he would still have to go through the USADA pool for like 6 months, right?
Right.
Okay, so still a bit away anyway.
100%.
All right, thanks.
It wouldn't be till next year.
And I guess it's just speculation since you haven't talked to Brock. We don't know for sure if he's completely free and clear from his contract at this point.
I know nothing. I haven't talked to him. I know nothing about it. TMZ asked me, he's a free agent, would you make that fight? And I said, if they wanted to, I would do it.
Well, I thought it was a smart performance, and I think that a lot of people, including myself, didn't realize that he was a much better wrestler, grappler than we had anticipated. And I think that, you know, when we were breaking this fight down, we said, hey, listen, Rakic is probably the better striker, no doubt about that. Way more dangerous on the feet, perhaps, than Anthony Smith. But if it goes to the ground, this is where Anthony can really take advantage. And that just never came to fruition, whether it was any positions that he had on top, which weren't many. But the times that he had his chances to kind of attack from bottom, Rakic just wasn't having it. Wasn't giving him the opportunity to set anything up. Anything that was remotely close, Rakic was aware of it and basically just shut Anthony down start to finish. I thought it was a solid performance. And I imagine just based on what we saw, even if we did see an extra 10 minutes in that fight, it looked like Rakic really was in cruise control and kind of just getting better as the fight went on.
Exciting times for this light heavyweight division. Ray, what'd you think of Alexander Rakic a couple days ago?
Yeah, I agree with Kenny. I mean, smart fight. I know if I was coaching him, I would have told him to stand up and finish it. I thought he could have finished it. And the way like in talking to people, the way I described it, if that was a fight on the Contender Series, I think Dana would have been pissed. Now, that doesn't mean it wasn't a smart fight. It was a very smart fight. And if his intention was to say, I can also stay on the ground with guys with good jiu-jitsu, then I think he made the right statement. But I thought that he was doing so good in the stand-up. One time, you know, I didn't even know if Anthony Smith could stand up. You know, so you always want to, you know, it was almost similar to when O'Malley fought the Thai guy, and he, you know, the guy decided to wrestle with him, but he wouldn't have been able to even walk. So I was a little confused on that, maybe the way he picked his spots, but I think he made his point, and I think, you know, like, again, the scores were correct, and he matches up really good with both Jan and
yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying? I think that's the interesting part for me. They all three of those guys match up really good together.